Thanks, Kay. I caught up with Marcus Davenport in the locker room on Wednesday, and I can confirm that his right foot is, in fact, in a boot. He tells me it's the right big toe that's banged up, and here's why that big toe is a big deal, according to him and his fellow defensive linemen. You need that toe to push off at the line to win those battles. Now, he did tell me he was able to get work in on the stationary bike, and of course, he completed the game against the Vikings, but he said he did so by playing differently. I asked him if he'd be playing on Sunday or if we could expect him out a month, and he nor the Saints would confirm that month-long timeline laid out by our insider Ian Rappaport. He would just say, and he said this coyly, that they were still seeking additional opinions and trying to figure out the best course of action. If he can't play there, of course, they have Alex Okafor, who has been rotating in and out of that right spot, and they've also got Trey Hendrickson, who is an option as well. Kay, back to you.
Great stuff from James Slater. As always, this matchup will see the league's best run game, the Rams and Todd Gurley, taking on the league's best run defense. Not many people know that is, in fact, the New Orleans Saints. Peter, who has the edge in this matchup?
I go with the Rams. I know the Saints have the statistics, and I know this is in New Orleans, but just Todd Gurley, there's a game plan for Todd Gurley. You have to stop Todd Gurley. For the Rams, they look at the Saints and say, okay, they need to stop us. It's not the other way around. The Saints aren't thinking like, okay, they've got to find a way to stop a guy that has not been stopped all season, Kay. He's got 50 total touchdowns, 52 career games, but 15 touchdowns already this season. 11 running, 4 receiving. And last week, he has that run to ice the game. It's 3rd and 10. They give him the ball. He runs it. They get a first down. The game's over. Afterwards, they said, Todd, how'd you think about doing this? How'd you go down? He says, no. Talk about Tyler Higbee's block. Talk about the block. That's a dream. That is a dream of a player. When he says, don't worry about my run, Tyler Higbee was smashing dudes, and that's how this run game operates. They are 5 offensive linemen, but the tight ends block, the wide receivers block. You look at Josh Reynolds, he was blocking. It's not just Todd Gurley. It's a team effort, and that run game, I don't think it can be stopped, Saints or anyone.
Now, you mentioned that the Saints have the numbers and they have the stats defensively, and they do. There hasn't been a running back this year to rush over 70 yards, averages 3.2 against them. So, of course, that Saints defense is stout, right? But for me, a number that you said about Todd Gurley wasn't the 11 rushing touchdowns. It's the 4 receiving touchdowns. So you can sit there and say, okay, will Todd Gurley have a big rushing game against the Saints on the ground? Maybe not. But my man can catch the ball and have 150 yards in the air. So for me, when you match up Todd Gurley and his skill set versus the Saints' rushing defense, they can't keep up with him. Yeah, maybe you do stuff him a couple times. Maybe there even is a few tackles for loss. Yeah. But if you got Todd Gurley catching the ball in the backfield, they're one of the best screen teams in the game. And on top of that, he can motion to the outside and run routes up against linebackers and safeties who do not have the hips to stay in front of them. So for me, I have to give the advantage to Todd Gurley and his running mate. And I'm not talking about the guys blocking in front of him or a fullback or the wide receiver. I'm talking about Sean McVay. Yeah. That's his best friend within this game because they're going to move him all over the field, and I guarantee he's still going to have himself a big day.
I think Gurley is going to have a huge day, but they're not going to be able to keep up with the Saints, and the reason is the edge lies in the dome. They're playing at home. They're 10-2 at home over the last 2 seasons. That is the best home record in the National Football League in that time. You two have told me and sold me on how scary it is to play in the dome. And Jared Goff struggles a little bit on the road. He's averaging 3 touchdowns a game at home in LA, 1 touchdown a game on the road. His completion percentage is down about 10 points on the road as well. When it comes down to it, playing in the dome, Drew Brees, I think, will outplay him at home.
You know, I think that the Saints are going to win this game, but I think Gurley's going to win this matchup. I'd be crazy to pick against Gurley.
Gurley's going to have a day.
Gurley comes from the SEC. He's played in every massive stadium in the country. I saw Gurley go up to Seattle, the imposing home field advantage, and destroy them. I'd be an idiot to pick against Todd Gurley right now. The only thing that stops him is the spread. That's it.
But this was a game that we all sort of toyed with as being the game that the Rams lose, right? Because it's very special to be an undefeated team.
The football gods say that teams don't go 16-0. It happened one time, and we know how it ended with David Tyree and everything. I think the Rams are going to lose a game. You just don't. We've seen so many good teams and so many good offenses. They always have a slip up, and I think at New Orleans is their slip up. Nate, why you maying me? Why you maying me?
Does this feel like that team to you?
Yeah, they're going 16-0. I hope they do. I'm rooting for it.
They've had those close games where they've won, so it's like they've been taken to the limit by the Seahawks in Seattle this year. They won. The Packers gave them everything.
No,
they won. The Broncos gave them everything. They won. I know the Saints are a special team, but I would be betraying my own instincts if I say that I think the Saints are beating the Rams this week.
Okay.
If it was in LA, I'd pick the Rams. Because it's in New Orleans, I'd pick the Saints.
15-1 is nothing to sneeze at. It's a great season.
9-0 is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
We'll talk more about this game of coming up.